I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Teresa, please call the roll.
Okay, Mayor Jones.
Here.
Bowen.
Here.
Wasslager.
Here.
Mattson.
Here.
Jazz.
Here.
Brenneman and Keel are absent with notice.
All right, do we have any additions or an approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting?
Make a motion to approve.
Any discussion? If not, we'll vote. Bowen.
Yes.
Jazz.
Yes.
Mattson.
Yes.
Wasslager.
Yes.
All right, next up, we need to have Jake take his oath of office for his 2-year term. He was gone last week, our last meeting working, so.
What do I need to do? Cross my heart, hope to die?
Yeah, keep your clothes on.
Raise your right hand.
Yeah,
Raise your right hand.
and keep your clothes on.
Okay. Very good. All right. I, Jake Jass, having been elected unopposed to the office of Councilperson Ward 3 within and for the city of Hartford in said county and state, which was Minnehaha and the state of South Dakota. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the state of South Dakota, and the ordinances of the city of Hartford. And I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my knowledge and ability, perform all the duties of my office of councilperson for Ward 3.
All right. Ward, again, or re-up. Next on the agenda is to approve the meeting minutes from the 5-2 meeting. We have a motion to that.
I make a motion to approve the 5-2 meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Can I
If
abstain
vote on
from this
this
one?
You can vote on this one.
Yeah.
You're okay.
If not, we'll
I
vote.
read them.
Yeah.
They look good.
Wasslager.
Yes.
Mattson.
Yes.
Jazz.
Yes.
Bowen.
Yes.
All right. Next up is to approve the bills submitted for payment. They're in your packet.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion on the bills? I looked through them. I didn't see anything that jumped out. Hearing no discussion, we'll vote. Bowen.
Yes.
Jazz.
Yes.
Mattson.
Yes.
Wasslager. All right. Next up is time for public comment. Anybody that has something they would like to talk about, not on the agenda. Scrolling. Karen puts page after page.
Oh, not good detail.
All right, seeing none, we're gonna, am I close enough to 7:05?
I shouldn't have read my thing so fast.
Yeah, you shouldn't have read it. You should have stalled a little bit. While we're waiting for it to tick to 7:05, click down to reports and we'll look through the fire department report and then we'll click back up. All right, you guys?
I have a couple of additions to the, not additions to the report, but comments that Ryan shared with me.
Yep.
He wanted to let us know that the department was awarded a volunteer fire assistance grant for $4,691 that they applied for. They will be using that for equipment purchase. And then a big reminder that the Pancake Feed is on Sunday, May 21st. That's a fundraiser for them. It's free will donation, so encourage people to attend. It's from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the station. And then he wanted to share that at the end of April, they had a structure fire in Hartford that was on a detached garage. And the cause of it was a fire pit that was not completely out from the night before. And then it was placed too close to the garage. So he's wondering, is there a way for us to send a reminder for residents on the setback requirement for fire pits? And then also to encourage them to have, if they're going to have outdoor fireplace or fire pit or grills, to have fire extinguishers
Is this a portable one or a permanent one? Because we only have setbacks on permanent fireplaces or,
Fire pits have to be 15 foot away, I thought.
if it's permanent,
If it's
If they're
permanent.
permanent.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
But
if they're
all,
portable,
but all
they-
fire pits should be screened to,
Correct.
like you said, kind of, so you don't have that. I know a lot of people don't like to put the screen on. We can certainly put a reminder in the newsletter.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's a good time of year to do that, and then
Yep.
just encourage them to have a fire extinguisher.
Yep.
Um,
We can certainly do that, yeah.
all right. Good. Have you been meeting with them? Have you been?
I've been talking with Brian, I
Yeah.
haven't been to a department meeting.
Good.
I think his report just had their training and those things in
Yeah,
there.
yep,
so, but-
that's good. Yeah, that's good. All right. Thank you, Cindy, for being liaison. All right, we're at 7:05. We're going to move back up and start with the hearings. Let's go all the way back up. That's pretty difficult. You're asking a lot. All right, first up is our 7:05 public hearing for renewal of the malt beverage licenses for 2023-2024. They are listed in the packet, and from my understanding, there's been no, we haven't any violations.
Not this past year, no?
I'll make a motion to approve the malt beverages licenses for 23 and 24.
Do you think we need a motion that excludes the brown jug to the
Yeah.
next meeting? Because we don't have a quorum to vote,
Oh,
because I have to abstain.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the malt beverages for 2023 and 2024, excluding the brown jug until our next meeting.
Perfect.
I'll second that motion.
All right, any discussion? If not, we'll vote on the others. Wasslerger,
Yes.
Mattson,
Yes.
Jazz,
Yes.
Bowen.
Yes.
All right,
At least somebody's paying attention.
I had a few memos on it today, so.
I know we're in 7:10, man, I'm going too fast.
Do another.
I don't want to jump all the way down. Can we talk about the special event, Leah?
Yeah.
Can we?
Well,
All right.
7:15 is the hearing on that.
Oh, that has a hearing
That
time
has a hearing
too.
as well. Oh, we can do Amy's report.
What's that?
We could do Amy's report.
Sure, okay.
Isn't
7:15, isn't that the one for just the special, the alcohol?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we could do the other two, yeah. Just thought you'd want to do them all together, but.
Let's do Amy's, and then we'll do you all at once. Okay, go ahead. Amy.
My information is in the packet. The only thing I have to update on that is I did attend the MACE conference, which is the Mid-American Chamber of Commerce Executives Conference with President Ashley Matthews and Vice President Scotty from ACE, Schrader, and came back with some new ideas for the chamber and some things to possibly implement. It was a great conference. We had the opportunity to hear from a lot of different other chambers and what they're doing, as well as legislative issues or concerns in other communities. Other than that, I guess everything's in the packet, and nothing to update on HADF other than the meetings now are going every other week, and we are now meeting in the City Hall office here. Any questions?
What's your thoughts on two things? Ribbon cutting on, maybe we can do them both at one fell swoop on the new logo on the water tower. That'd be kind of cool to have a little get together out there, and when we get our sign up,
That's something absolutely we could do for both.
do them both once we get the sign up.
I would do them separately, but yes.
both.
Mhm.
Okay,
Tower, and because all got completed today, so.
Yeah.
And then the welcome sign on the exit, the billboard one, hopefully within the next week or so. we'll
Yeah.
have posted the sign
Yep.
out there.
So if you just wanna pick out a date within the next 2 weeks to 3
Let's
weeks.
make sure they get it done, yep,
Mhm.
yep,
Once it's
Okay.
completed. Absolutely.
yeah, that'd be good.
I'll make a note of it.
All right, we're at 7:10, we're gonna, man, we're gonna make a ball there. Everybody's gonna be, wonder which direction we're going, we keep jumping around. This is resolution of annexation 2023-7 for an annexation petition submitted by Dave A. Jan's Living Trust for parcel 16009. It's in your packet. This is the
Dale
land.
Jans.
What's that?
Dale Jans.
Dale Jan. What did I say?
Dave.
Well, and
Oh, it says
you may
Dave
have-
in here.
I would say you might have not an updated agenda, because I updated the agenda because I saw that typo, yeah.
Teresa. Better make a note of that.
Yeah.
There's only like 50,000 words in this packet, so.
Yeah, I got that one letter wrong. So.
All right, excuse me, Dale Jan, sorry, I
Yeah,
should
no.
have probably known that, but. All right, so that information's in fact, this is the land that sets directly east of Maple Pass.
Yep, there's approximately 149 acres there. The owner of the property has indicated that they do plan to develop, but that development is probably 5+ years out, you know, it just kind of depends on how things go. But there's no immediate plans for development. But we've talked about them annexing in as a rural service district. And so a rural service district is land that is basically ag in nature, undeveloped. And when you annex it into a city, instead of getting taxed at the city mill rate, it stays at the county rate. So annexing in doesn't provide any tax consequences for the owner of the property. Their taxes will stay as if they were in the county. But the thing for the city that's helpful with annexing it in is that those taxes, instead of going to the county, come to the city. So even though it's at the county rate, we get those taxes. And we've talked about this before. We are going to be going in to negotiate, you know, our water contract with rural water. I think the most annexed land we can show, I mean, it just builds our case of, you know, being able to have a higher water contract. So it's helpful to the city in those two ways. Plus eventually, you know, it will be, you know, a development at some point. So they are asking to annex, but then as a rural service district. Planning and zoning reviewed it at their meeting last week, and their recommendation is to annex it in as such.
We talked about pre-annexation agreement regarding easements.
We don't do a pre-annexation agreement with easements, you know, as far as putting easements in for like utilities and whatnot. That's all looked at when they come with a development plan, when they come with their concept plan to the city. We'll look at where to put easements, we'll look at where they're gonna put their streets, where they're gonna put their water sewer, where we're gonna do the connections. So when they do have a plan for development and present a concept plan to the city, that'll be looked on the forefront.
So we won't have the issue of needing an easement for some sort of project through that land prior to them developing it?
Like I said, that's gonna have to be looked at when we know how they're gonna develop it. At this point, we're just
I'm
looking at
getting to our
annexation.
easement issue for the utilities, that we had not too long ago, and they could not get an easement.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's for the developer to hook onto the city services of where they're at. At this time, 5+, we'll have sewer down Nicholson Avenue. There will be water up into Maple Pass.
And if
You know,
I
they
And
can
that one
come down.
should have been caught in the plan stage, because they stubbed the pipe out that direction, but they never included the easement.
right,
Yeah,
So
I
it's
think that was
kind
kind of a different circumstance. I mean, normally, like I said, development plans come in and we look at those things when the plans come in. At this point, with annexation, we don't know where to put an easement, we don't know what's gonna go where, yeah.
So when somebody's looking to develop, we do have the option of saying, no, we're not gonna approve these plans if you're not gonna give us the easement that we need.
Oh, true, yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
so
You
then we would have
negotiate it,
somebody-
figure out where, yeah, you need easements and where the services are gonna go.
and in this
land-
case,
Yeah.
5 years down the road, there's probably another option that they would come straight across from our lift, or closer to our lift station, it's gonna be down
Definitely
that
could,
road.
yeah.
Anyway, rather than come all the way back up to the Nicholson lift station, they probably cut right straight across 38.
And the land to the north, all that other stuff that's been annexed in, we've been watching out to make sure that they do have utility hookups to adjoining their property, so. So we'll do the same. We've already kind of planned that for this other land, and where we can keep the water to them, you know, to the property lines, stuff like that, so it's, with this whole big section here, like Teresa was saying, at this time, without really knowing any plans, the easements will actually be, they'll be putting easements on themselves for their own utilities, because they're the ones that are gonna have to get it across their land. So the rest of it will have.
It's actually kind of good knowing this far ahead of time, because then we know this is on the forefront, and you know, as other
Keep
land
planning.
develops, you can plan it, yeah, a little bit better than, yeah, missing it somewhere along the line.
So that's
Our trust level is low, but not anybody in particular, just, you know,
I mean, it's
I
like-
thought we talked about like making sure, but maybe it's when the plan,
I mean, at this point, they're just looking for annexation, there's no development plans yet, and so, like I said,
right.
you know, it's unknown where easements will be needed.
And typically, the developer's not going to want to start platting that, because once they start platting it, that's when the tax, that's
Exactly,
when the tax consequences.
so they're not gonna be platted until.
So I was gonna ask a question on that. So if they wanted to, let's say 5 years down the road, they wanted to develop 50 acres of that. So that 50 acres would be taxed differently than the other 100 plus, or
Right.
90 plus acres, right? So they
Right,
can
that
do it.
would be taxed differently. The
Okay.
other, the undeveloped can still stay in the rural service, but the developed part,
Okay.
yes, will have to be, they'll have the city, they'll levy on it, yes.
Right.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, I do. What is gonna happen to the acres there that are currently, for the wildlife?
So she's asking, I believe, so there are 3 acreages on the, if you look at the map on the east side
Okay, yeah.
of this property there.
Yeah.
They're not included in the annexation, we're not forcing them, we're just looking at this parcel that's owned by the Jans Trust. So those 3 acres still remain in the county and under county jurisdiction.
Are you talking that, ma'am, or the wetland?
The wetland.
She's talking the wetland.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the wetlands will.
He'll have to do wetland mitigate, or mitigate them if he has to, or keep them as wetlands.
I mean, has he gone forward to get approval to?
I doubt
Probably
it
not.
this far out.
Yeah, probably not this far out. No.
Yeah, once you get closer to development, I'm sure there'll be a survey done to see whether they're
Right.
jurisdictional or non-jurisdictional, and see if they need to be mitigated or not.
I know all the years it's been farmed, that land has been saved for the wildlife.
Right.
Yeah.
You're talking the,
Everybody takes advantage of it because they come out and hunt deer and pheasants.
Right.
and stuff there.
so you say there's 3, I see the section toward the north of that property, and then over toward the east. And then is the 3rd one that, kind of that other little spot?
It's,
Or no, down here closer below. I
it's
see it.
between you go up the hill,
Yeah,
it's behind the 2 residential areas.
yep, yep. That one's pretty clear on here. Yeah, that's a pretty good chunk.
Yeah,
Okay, great question.
okay.
But yeah, they'll have to do that one.
this doesn't change their requirement to manage those
Right.
wetlands.
They won't make any changes to it until they get closer to it.
But once they start, and I get from you that they can just start with 50 of the acres.
Yeah, a little chunk of it,
Or
yep,
whatever they want.
right.
But, right, and my guess is just looking at that where that nature area is, it's probably gonna be a long time before they work their way north on that property, but there's a process, from my understanding of being on HADF, there's a process that, if there's wetlands and all that, process to even do, I don't know all the details, but
Yeah.
hopefully they keep that nature area there.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2023-7 as written.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, we'll vote. Jazz?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
Wasslager?
Yes.
Second piece of that is first reading of ordinance 742, which is the rural service district for this same plot, 16009.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 742, rural service district for parcel 16009.
I'll second.
We got 2 seconds.
Oh,
Sorry, you went first, Jake.
3 seconds, I think. Chris did. Any discussion?
Usually not the issue.
If not, we'll vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Waslaw?
Yes.
Jazz?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
All right. Now after the delay, we've made you late by 5 minutes. Leah?
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Good questions. Good questions.
Great question, really. That's a great question. So, all right.
All right, so the first one is the special event application.
Yep.
The one in your agenda, though, the third bullet point, request to release, it's 2023, not 2021 budget funds. I don't know.
Oh, that's
These
too.
two type, oh,
Man.
no.
I'm not going backwards, I'm going forwards.
We better start keeping track.
Thanks,
of
Leah.
these. I better-
You're welcome, sorry to point that out.
I better have a scorecard.
As far as the special event itself, it's very similar to past years. Not a lot of changes. I included the map. The map is mostly for the parade, which that route hasn't changed as well. And then I also included the scheduled events. A couple things on the scheduled events that would have still been in red that we're needing to confirm. Pitch tournament, we just need to make sure the senior center is still going to be doing that along with bingo. Dunk tank, I don't know if you guys were still planning on a dunk tank or not. Okay, then I will cross that out. That will be an X off of there. And then Dakota Kids pedal pole, the time changed slightly. It's gonna actually move up a little ways, so it's more in conjunction that it comes right after Phil Baker. So trying to keep the kids more in the park at an earlier time, because we know at 3 o'clock kids try to maybe get crabby because it's hot outside. And then Hidden Mania may be coming off of there as well. I don't think Jeff this year is going to be able to do it. So just a few changes to the schedule. But as far as everything else, kind of stays the same. Couple requests I know that we've asked for in the past is for help with city people, right, Craig?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the city people can help, like with setting up barricades. What else do you guys do? Picnic tables and bleachers and
Yeah, set up the.
the different items.
And
Anything
then
I'm missing?
And then we've got, some in the park that Saturday, pick up garbage and stuff like that, yeah, that stuff.
And then we also have groups that we have volunteer come in as well to help clean up as well. We have like the Boy Scouts that help on Saturday, and then we've got, normally we try to get after prom as well. It's a fundraiser for them, so, and it helps us to, since our committee's super small.
All right. So we can deal with these one at a time if we'd like. Let's talk about the special event application. Do I have any motions from the council regarding that?
Any questions?
I don't know how to word it, but have motion to approve the application for a special event permit
Okay.
for Jamboree Days.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, we'll vote on that one. Wasslager?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
Jazz?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Okay, the second one is their application for special malt beverage license so they can sell beer in the park on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Well, Friday is from 2:30 to midnight.
Yep.
We start around 2:30 because we do have cars that start coming in early. Midnight because we do stop, the band stops at 11 that night, so it gives like an hour just so that people can finish their drinks and get out of the park. Saturday is 10 a.m. to midnight and then midnight to 1 a.m. So Sunday is not like a long period of time.
Oh, just
But since
after.
the band goes till midnight,
Okay.
again, trying to give that one extra hour just to have people finish your drinks, get them gone, and get out of the park. Not that I'm trying to be rude and kick people out, but.
But you are.
Kind of sounds like it, but we won't go there.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Exactly, we have times that we have to comply to.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's the only time on Sunday that we're asking for it is the 12
Okay.
to midnight, or midnight to 1 a.m.
Okay,
I'd make a motion to approve the Jamboree application for special malt beverage license.
Second.
any discussion on this one? If not, we'll vote. Bowen?
Yes.
Jazz?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
Wassler?
Yes.
All right, and then their third one is they're asking for money.
And that's just based off of last year's budget request.
And
I
I-
normally don't come early, I normally wait till closer to the event, so.
Yeah.
And we did not, I'm not coming here in regards to a carnival, so you didn't see me, because we did not, we can't.
Couldn't find
one. No. Carnivals are few and far between, and the ones that are available, or we found one, but it was like, I think, $40,000-$50,000, and it's a little outside of my budget. Wasn't sticking my neck out there quite that far. So, and a lot of them are already committed for like X number of years. A lot of times they sign contracts that are 3 to 5 years long, so.
I would just say, Leah, and you're not the first and you won't be the last. We're gonna really be tightening up come this fall. So when people come in for their requests for next year, we want everybody to be prepared because we're gonna have to start tightening up. Infrastructure costs a lot of money and we're gonna have to start watching everything we're doing. So, just not to be a Debbie Downer, but we need to
We'll
have.
go as big or small as we
I'm
can.
glad you came in and the fire department's spending, I mean, we're having this conversation as
Yep.
people are coming in. So,
I'd make a motion to approve the release of the 2023 Jamboree budget funds.
I'll second.
any discussion? If not, we'll vote. Wassler?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
Jazz? Bowman?
Yes.
Thank you, Leah, for everything you do.
Thank you very much.
You bet you guys have any
And what is the theme?
cartoons.
Oh, that's right. I think I knew that.
It's simple this year. You come with your favorite cartoon.
I don't suppose I could drop a personal plug that the 17th of June is my birthday.
You know, you might not want to tell certain people on the committee because they might not drive back.
I already told Wendy up at the pharmacy, so she knows, so.
And she's in charge of the parade, so.
Yeah,
Well, happy early birthday and
Thank
thank you
you.
guys. Have a good night.
you bet, thanks, Leah.
Yep.
All right, we already talked to Amy. Get wheeling through here. Oh, we're at the highlight of the night, engineers report.
Good evening, everyone. Since the last meeting, met with the elementary school in that angled parking that I've discussed previously, talked through with them. They're still adamant on getting that incorporated to the site plan, and so they want to sit down and talk, and we're waiting on a updated plan from them to see what they like, and we'll go from there. On 6th and Munt, the punch list is dwindling, it's going down. There still are a few items to be done, most notably seating. I know, or further, more so mulching, so all areas district have been seeded. It was just those few areas where there's vehicles parked that didn't get mulched. So that's why I think those areas are a little bare looking. Working with the contractor, get all of the punch list done, and then we will monitor that seed to make sure it germinates, so that residents can have their lawns back. Water tower, as previously discussed, logo went up today and it looks good. Craig, Teresa, and I were all out there, looked at it, and it doesn't look as small as it did on the piece of paper, so.
It's pretty big when you get up to it.
Yeah.
You know why that is, Michael? It's a water tower.
Yeah.
It's not a piece of paper, it's a water tower.
So, but no, looks good. So that's done. The water rec facility advertisements for the CMAR selection did go out, or were published in the paper last Friday, and will be published again this Friday for those interviews on May 23rd. And then looking ahead for that June 6th awarding of the CM contract to the one selected by the committee. Construction schedule on that has not changed. And then additionally on that, we have our final review set, which we are resubmitting to the A&R after our first submittal. Haven't received comments, so and we've been reaching out, kind of hounding them to get comments back to us, just so we can get those done, have them ready to go. But they have not provided those, so we just went ahead and resubmitted our plans. Let them know that we've been in close contact with them for this CM process, so they know it's on the way for review. On the bike and rec trail, Working towards that, we've got geotechnical lined up to get the design of their retaining walls. They should be here later this week pending some access agreements with the landowners to the north, just making sure they can get that rig in there to collect that data. And then additionally, we will be having a pre-submittal meeting with FEMA just to go through their expectations, walk through it, explain anything, ask, so they can ask questions and get immediate feedback rather than submitting it and then getting feedback in, well, months, with the way FEMA said recently. Storm shelter, no change, did reach back out to the city hazard mitigation officer still. Unfortunately, no update there. And then no updates on Highway 38 water main, so waiting on funding on that one. And then Western Avenue, actually have a proposal for design services for phase 2 for that. Any questions on the report?
I reached out to Justin earlier because I was thinking that they had a date wrong in here that on the wastewater treatment plant, October 1, 2025. I always thought that we were looking at as January 1, 2025. But Justin did send me a note and said that is the date. I don't know where I got the January date.
I had the same thing where I think maybe early on DANR had provided that timeline.
January date, yeah. I always thought that was the date we had to be done.
Yeah, I thought we were planning for October completion to have those months to get it working and,
Right.
and tune it. But maybe as the process has gotten along, they've revised the deadlines. But nonetheless, October 1st, 2025 is the
Yeah, I have to quit telling
deadline
people
for construction
January 1
complete.
because that's what I've been saying.
But
That's our compliance date, right, October?
yes, correct.
Yeah.
But I mean, just keep in mind that is 28 months away, and we're anticipating an 18-month construction, so plenty of time to get it.
I was just say we'll pick up a day or two.
Might get lucky.
Yeah, trust level, Cindy, there's the trust level deal right there. Yeah.
Effective dates and compliance dates are sometimes different.
Sometimes different, there you go.
Yes.
All right.
If there's no questions, I have a couple.
Yeah, we got some action items.
Yep.
Yep.
So the first is change order 5 for the 6th-month project. This is just to rectify those estimated planned quantities to what was actually installed in the field. So, with these reconstructions, there's years of infrastructure utilities that have been installed and abandoned under the ground, and that you really only find once you start construction. So a lot, or that change order is to accommodate those changes.
All right, do we got any action from the council on that first one, on that change order 5?
It changes it by the full amount that's listed there? It
61,000.
adds the full six, okay.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, it'll be an increase of 61,000.
Yep.
Want everybody to make a motion at once?
I'll make a motion to approve change order number 5 for the 6th-month project.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
So I recall the discussion about creating a sidewalk for safety reasons, so.
Yeah, that's.
That was a part, that was
a big chunk, yeah.
a chunk of it, right?
Yep, because we had been reviewing
Two-thirds of it.
the allowance, we hadn't had a change order for it, so that is part of, that's a big chunk of what this
Because
change
we
order
went
is.
sidewalk on the east side of Mont down to like 4th or 5th and then across and
Yep,
then to the other side of the street and, yeah.
And that's good, that's, yeah.
It was a
It's really
safety.
good to have.
Yeah, it was a
the
safety
there
deal.
for
Yeah,
kids homeschooling.
yeah,
On the sidewalk,
People walking dogs.
are they handicap accessible?
yes.
yeah, they all got it.
Yep, and after they constructed, to your question, we did check the grades on all of them to ensure they were compliant, so, and they all got passed.
All right. Any more discussion on this one? If not, we'll vote. Mattson,
Yes.
Wasslager,
Yes.
Jazz,
Yes.
Bowen.
Yes.
All right, the second one is the one that you got a copy that's on your desk, not the one that's in the,
Correct,
Yes,
so
it's been updated.
there was an updated one sent out, so pay application 6, revised is in the amount of $127,807.66. And this pays out, planned quantities, that were installed, minus, the seating amount, and, then a little bit extra for those remaining punch list items, just to ensure they get completed.
Okay,
Okay, I make a motion to approve application number 6.
for 127.
Yes, for $127,807.66.
We have a second to that?
A second.
All right, any discussion? So what's this
So whether-
remaining?
What was the overage? Like, did we end up?
So the change was, if you look on the pay application, it shows that, previous payments made by the city,
Mhm.
our last payment for pay application number 5 wasn't included in that total amount. So we paid more than what the original one showed. Karen saw it when she was going through adding in, into her spreadsheet that she keeps for the project, so.
Nice work.
So they made the whole formula change, so, yeah. Good thing she caught it in the truck for us, right?
We hate to overpay anybody. All right, we got a motion, second, any more discussion on this one? Hearing none, we'll vote. Bowen.
Yeah.
Jazz.
Yes.
Mattson.
Yes.
Wasslager.
Yes.
Okay, and your third one, Michael, is on the,
Design proposal for phase 2 design for Western Avenue reconstruction. And that is really finalizing design. We presented preliminary design and a cost estimate, I believe, back in January, probably. And what really phase 1 design was planning. So that was our traffic report that we did, lane width, looking at speeds, and then kind of our vertical and horizontal alignment, just making sure it'll fit, and then making sure, if we do have some initial concerns, then we can identify that we maybe have to go further down side streets. So we have presented that, and what we found previously. This is really to finalize that design, really work out the details, the nuts and bolts of the design. There's utility coordination in there. Western Avenue has quite a bit of utilities and then ditches that we likely want to move, or at least relocate out of the way of any of the city installed utilities, making sure we don't run into something like we did on 6 and Mount Bass being right under the road. That's what we have kind of included in the estimated value for utility coordination. Additionally, we have bid assistance in there, because it's going to be publicly bid with the SDDOT project. As previously mentioned, that is to help and hopefully drive costs down if a single contractor can get both projects. There'll be a lot of efficiencies gained. And then I believe the last item in that is to just coordinate with the DOT. They have a lot of handoffs and other items that we'll want to make sure we accommodate in there. So it's not doesn't seem to be two disjoint projects, rather one cohesive project.
so the request is 217,000, is that correct?
Yes.
And does that take into account the 47, or that's, so the
No.
total bill then is 250 or 60,000?
Going forward, yes. The 47,000 we paid last year was, like Michael indicated, for their preliminary design, for the traffic count.
I'm just trying to get the final total
Right.
figures, 260
So our capital improvement plan was
was off.
short.
Yes,
Is
yes,
that what you're saying?
yes, that's what I'm saying. It was off that 41%, so. So we'll have to take 41,000 out of reserve.
I think we'll have to take that out of something.
Seems like an awful lot of money.
Yeah, I'd be curious, and I'm new to this, but I'm just looking, the final design / construction documents, what is?
Oh, I can provide that to you. I apologize, Sean. We had put together essentially a concept of what the roadway would look like, showing turn lanes, the intersections, looking at storm sewer sizing, just because there's actually quite a bit of area within the interchange that the DOT is doing that will be now draining to Turtle Creek that we have to account for with the city's infrastructure. And since the roadway is going from the urban section, or the rural section is now ditches, which can convey a lot of stormwater to an urban section where there are no ditches and it all has to be piped. That's a big consideration, and large diameter storm sewer is not cheap by any means. So That is some of the stuff we looked at in preliminary design, just so we're not shorting the estimate that we provided. I believe that was, don't quote me on this, I believe the cost estimate we provided for the improvements as presented at that time was $4.4 million for.
Yeah, this is a big project.
Yeah.
And I mean, the state's redoing the interchange, so you kind of have to, or should match up to it.
Yeah, this is the best time to do it. So we're gonna widen that out all the way from the bridge. The state stops like at Diamond Trail, if I'm not
On the
mistaken.
south side of the bridge or the north, or?
North of the bridge.
Okay.
So they're gonna redo the whole bridge. As they come north, the state stops at Diamond Trail, we pick it up from there. We're gonna go on the other side of, actually extend past Mickelson, so we're gonna have turn lanes and stuff, but it's gonna be a lot safer.
Yeah.
But it's a big project, you're right, Michael, that was, I think the initial estimate was over $4 million, right?
Yeah.
If I remember right.
I think it was like 3.6, but then engineering on top of it, so yeah, I think it was close to $4
Yeah,
million.
so that's a big project.
And with those, the schedule outlined in there for 60%, 90%, we'll also provide updated cost estimates at those times too, just to keep you guys in the loop.
So in the end, we gotta come up with $41,000 extra.
Up to 41,000 there. That wasn't in budget,
That
yeah,
wasn't in budget.
yes.
And we'll budget for that next year, or it'll actually come out of cash reserves?
It'll come out of cash reserves. Okay, they'll need to get their engineering completed this year, by the end of the year, because DOT will need that information to take it out to bid. And they'll have their whole review process, for 2024, and then, like I said, to get it to bid, so we have to get all our plans completed by the end of this year, so it will have to come out of reserves.
And this is the total that will pay for the whole project?
This is just.
This is
It's
design.
just the engineering.
So it's not the
Just
construction.
design,
It's not the
construction.
Right.
Okay,
that's-
thank you.
yeah.
I appreciate
What-
you clarifying all my,
What are the I mean,
all my questions.
And if we could get that done for $200,000,
Yeah.
we'd do it
Yeah.
right now.
I mean, do you think we would stay within budget with the total project, with that, with that project being a couple of years out? I mean,
Not a chance.
The way things have been going on.
Yeah, with our cost estimates, they are, based on data that we have to date, and we had provided that last summer. So
I like that.
by the time of
That'll
construction,
be the
there's,
theme from this meeting.
you have to basically apply, an inflation factor to them every year.
But you really can't not redo, I mean,
Yeah.
Which, and that's,
that road is getting,
This is the perfect time to
So
redo
it
it,
is.
yeah.
I live right off that road essentially, so trust me, yeah, I understand. You have a question?
Yeah, just, I haven't seen the engineering design, proposal, but, did we take into account all that northwest wind snow that we got this winter that comes across that road?
Oh, that's a whole nother topic.
wrong
That's county.
Yep.
We're talking up here by the interstate.
Okay.
The county.
Yeah, that's the
I
county.
thought you were counting the whole western.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a whole nother
as
ballgame.
demonstrated by the maze to get through town, there is
Yeah.
no control over that state highway.
And let's just say, so we'll
Yeah.
say it on camera in case the state is watching, or the county. Nobody called us and told us they were shutting our road off.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
That'd be DOT's.
State. That's-
Yeah.
And also they detoured all the traffic to that road,
See?
Yeah.
and then they closed it.
Yeah, detour
Yep.
interstate traffic and then close the road down.
Yeah, that's a mess.
And then didn't put up proper signage.
I happened to run into Deputy Cardis yesterday, and he said, man, I can't wait for them to get so he was trying everything he can to keep trucks from running all over the side streets.
Yeah, he was out there today,
Oh,
on the semi
wow.
back up, had his lights on and.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
So
all right,
So what exactly, from the bridge to what?
past Mickelson.
To the cat.
No, it's not very
just-
far.
No, it isn't very far.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What about the rest of the road?
The rest of the road, so we have down to Menth
Yeah.
is the cities. Then the county picks up, and the county has from Menth to past 38.
Yeah, they follow along.
They go all the way out.
Yep.
So when you were asking about the snow,
Yeah.
We had several conversations with them last winter about that intersection always being plugged in. The problem is, the homeowners or the property owners on the west side, there's really not much we can do other than have them put up 50-foot fences maybe. And then we'd have it just come right over the top of the 50-foot and we'd have a big rip, so. Yeah, it's just a mess. This was maybe one of the worst winters we've had up here.
Well, there's no, what do you call it, sides.
Ditch,
shoulder.
no, yeah,
Yeah, it's the ditch, yeah, that's it, that's the
Right.
side.
yeah, there's no shoulders.
Yes,
Right.
thank you.
That's the word. All right. Okay,
I make a motion to approve the engineer contract for Western Avenue expansion project.
Second.
any discussion? If not, we'll vote. Bowen,
Yeah.
Jazz,
Yes.
Mattson,
Yes.
Wassler. All right, what else you got, Michael? One more?
I believe the last one is just discussing the interview date and team for the CM selection for the water facility.
Oh, yeah. Jake, you sat on that before and so did Travis. Would you like to do that again?
As long as the date works for me, I would absolutely do that, you bet.
So proposals are due on the 22nd, and so we can have the interviews as early as the 23rd, Tuesday the 23rd, the next day. And we're trying to get this done as quick as possible if that date works.
Yeah, it looks like the 23rd evening works for me fine, or would it be during?
Could you
the
do it
day
later
again?
afternoon, maybe?
Later afternoon, yeah.
Let me just,
Do we need a motion to put them two on from council?
yeah, I would think so. Like I said, we had Jake and Travis, me and Craig, and Rachel with ISG.
He's in Canada
And
fishing, so
Justin,
he's
were
good
you
with
on,
it.
Michael?
By the way.
Yeah.
I was not.
I think,
I must
well,
have,
and
I must have been either Justin or John.
I think John was, so maybe with ISG, we can do Rachel and Justin.
We don't
maybe
have
this
to
time.
nominate them all, though, we just have to
I
worry
think
about
we
the two from the
coordinate. I
council.
think the thing is we need to get the date set and, yeah, just so we have a consensus of who we want on, then I'll reach out to everybody and get a team set up,
Okay.
if that works.
So do we need to make a motion to set the interview date for the CMAR and have you select the interview team?
Yep, I think that works perfect, yep.
That sounds like a great motion, do we have a second?
Especially Jake and Travis.
You didn't put a date down.
Oh, yeah, yeah, they,
23rd.
especially notate Jake and Travis, way.
Let me
Amend, can you do that, sorry?
amend my motion to specify Jake, Jas, and Travis Keel as the council members
All right,
to be a part of the interview team.
will you re-second that?
Feels like weird. I think Chris had a second.
Chris, you had a
Yes,
second?
second.
All right, we have a second, any discussion? All right, we'll vote, Wassler,
Yes.
Mattson,
Yes.
Jazz,
Yes.
Bowen.
Yes.
All right, what else?
That's all I have for you.
Well, that was a lot.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
Oh, I
That was
kept it pretty
as
quick
they-
recently, I feel like.
As we say sometimes, that was a lot to unpack.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
That was,
Thank you.
that was painful to vote yes on too. It's good, I'm glad.
Oh,
Change
you're gonna
is
have more
always easy.
painful ones to vote on other than this.
Well,
All right,
And
Greg?
we'll vote it on Michael.
I'm just gonna touch a little bit on that DOT project up there in Highway 38.
Yes.
When I talked to DOT last week about the projects and that, what they told me is, I don't think this intersection was actually on their plans to rebuild it completely like they did. But the contractor was moving ahead so good that they wanted to go ahead and get more work done in town, get the road completely under control. The signage that they had was poor. I talked to them on last week about it. They put a signboard up thinking that was gonna be it. I think their thoughts were that they'd have it open Monday or Tuesday, but somebody drove across concrete after they poured it, so they had to jackhammer it out and restart. So now they've got a truck blocking the intersection completely, so nobody's gonna be driving across it. They're hoping that by Thursday, maybe Friday, they'll be able to open that back up.
Okay.
We'll see. So that's the reason why it got delayed, but yeah, the signage was terrible. I actually had, DOT got a hold of their sign company and had them contact me so I could get the signs put up like I thought we needed through town. So they did get them put up for truck route, so if we do have trucks coming through yet, we'll just go ahead and ticket them, I'd say, because they're going around the signs, stuff like that, so.
All right.
But hopefully won't have the semis coming through town anymore. We knew it was gonna be a mess as soon as we seen the signs up, but trying to get somebody up here to do something. So hopefully that's under control for now. The only other thing on my report that I was gonna touch on was, the sewer extension project going out, to Central States. They did get back in here and we went through the whole thing with the cedars and they've got it reseeded, everything looks really good, so that project will be wrapped up. Same thing, we'll just keep an eye on the grass, see if it, if we make sure it takes off and grows, so that should be wrapped up.
Did they get the building fixed for it?
Yes,
Okay.
yep, and Greg Boggs actually called me after they got done seeding and said it looked really good, so he was happy, so we should be wrapped up with that project. And the only other thing on mine is a budget, or a number, I guess, for motion to, want to go ahead and get that building put up. We have budget money for that. I think it's $20,000 what we had at budget time to put up a building. We figured out we could probably, with the numbers we got, we should be able to put up a 30 by 48 building out there. We'd be doing all the work ourselves, building it. And we're looking at relocating it after the land to the south got sold. More got thinking about that might be a good entrance, if, depending on who builds or buys it on that side, might be a good entrance for another entrance into the sports complex, so. I'd like to move the building where the batting cage is at right now, I think it'll make a nice fit over there, so.
Okay. And we budgeted this last year, correct?
Yep, 20,000 is what we had budgeted.
Will we put the batting cage somewhere else?
We'll find a different spot for it, even if it's temporary, we gotta move it again. Sioux Valley set that for us last time, to post something like that, so we'll pull them and find another spot for it out there. So we might be able to even just move it down too from where
Oh,
we're
yeah.
at. So,
Yeah.
should be enough room.
Yeah, there's some room there, isn't there?
What do you put in that? I mean, it's a maintenance building, but is that just equipment specifically for keeping up that sports
Yeah, we'll keep
complex?
the mowers in there, the field drag, stuff like that will be in there, and then in the wintertime, we'll be able to put the benches and bleachers and all that stuff inside there that are bolted down, we'll put those in to keep the snow from crushing them, so.
All right, we got any action from the council on that?
I make a motion to approve the erection of the maintenance building at Swenson Park up to the budget amount of $20,000.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Wasslager?
Yes.
Jazz?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks.
You
Any
can get that deal built
questions?
for 20,000 by 40.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's what I was
I
thinking.
might have you come and build one.
Additional labor, you gotta pay labor.
Oh, no, I thought, well, he did say that. Oh,
He said that.
yeah, I know.
Any other questions for me on anything, or comments?
Thanks for dealing with the DOT.
They're not
Oh,
bad to
man.
deal with, so I know most of the guys there. So.
And your enzyme, and I seen in your report, and you told me this morning, your enzyme and the lagoon's a little more, man.
Yeah, we got some more coming in tomorrow, and we'll get that done there right away. Hopefully it'll start coming around.
Crazy
So.
to spray.
Dog park really looks nice.
Yeah, it's getting used pretty good.
Yeah, there's been some dogs down there. So, all right,
We really appreciated it.
good enough. We'll move on to Karen's report.
Reports in the packet, nothing to add. I do have an action item. The auditors have finished our 2022 annual report. Copy was provided. I've looked it over. Everything seems in order, so I'm looking for a motion to approve that, and then I'll send it on to the state or publish it. I guess that's what I have to do, and yeah, file it with the state, so.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the audit report.
Second?
And it, yep,
Annual report.
2022 annual report. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. Bowen?
Yes.
Jazz?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
Wasslager?
Yes.
All right, anything else, Karen?
No.
Thank you. Other than this big stack of stuff that you gave me to sign, everything's pretty good. All right, Teresa.
Just my report has kind of updates on the
Yeah.
projects and little ones. Couple things to point out, as far as part-time help, the only positions we are advertising still for are lifeguards and assistant managers. We do have 7 lifeguards right now. 2 of those lifeguards can act as assistant manager, so we will utilize them. The lifeguards are always in other activities too, so hopefully we'll have enough to cover all shifts, but if we can get another lifeguard in that can assistant manager or an assistant manager, it would help out. So we're gonna keep that open just for a little bit, just to see if we can maybe get 1 or 2 more people. But I think the staff we have, we can get along, manage all the shifts with as of now. So, but we are gonna continue to look at them. We're continuing to work with Catalyst for our website update. We've been kind of going back and forth with them on the layouts. We talked a little bit, our new welcome sign, the billboard one going out to the east exit, Sioux Valley, fast signs. Went out there, looked for placement of it. We're hoping within the next week or so we will have that up and going and whatnot. I did put on your desk our monument signs, so these are the signs that are gonna replace the 3 welcome signs that are coming into town that were damaged by the storm. We originally, they had presented us with a gray background, and these didn't copy very good. It looks kind of yellowish, but my copy on the computer looks more gray, but we were originally gonna go with that. It was suggested by Fast Sign, maybe we wanna look at the white. Our logo may pop a little bit, and I think it does when you look at it. It pops a little bit more there. They also said over time, all signs and colors fade, though as they fade, the white will help keep that a little more vibrant. So at this point, they've got the order in, but nothing has been produced, and they just want to know, would we want to go with the gray background or the white background, and what our consensus is of it.
I think the white looks great.
Agreed.
Background.
Yep.
Nothing on the backside?
No, they're plain on the backside, so, you only see it as you're driving in. And we'll have to put spotlighting on those, because they're not lit from within like the other ones are. They'll have to be spotlighted, so.
Do we need a motion for that, or can we?
I think is there just
White.
consensus white?
Yep.
Is everybody good with that? Okay, that's just all I need to know to give directions to Fast Sign so they can.
Yeah, when Teresa showed, I asked her to give you guys a copy so we can get your
That's
input.
Yep, just wanted to make sure. So, yeah, I think the white will kind of stand out a little bit more too and look nice. So we'll go with that. I do plan on attending the county meeting for, they're gonna look at that ordinance on pipelines next week. So I will attend that discussion to see what they do there. I put some information in the packet as well about Senate Bill 41. That's the housing infrastructure bill. The city's not a housing developer, but this is definitely something developers can use as they go up in town. And there was a little update in it. Last month I gave you a full legislative update. There was a little blip about it. This kind of gives you the full information, just something to keep an eye on and be aware of. So that information's in there for you. The mayor and I also attended the downtown, walk around with Bob Yap, to look at the different buildings downtown. The buildings we actually got into were the Gage House, the Munt Building, South Bar, I guess we got into.
I think people wanted to have a beer. I think that's why they went.
The brewery and the Legion. The brewery is not a really historical one, but the other ones there was nobody around to get into. But it was interesting. Definitely the Gage House, when you go upstairs there, you can definitely see the old woodwork or whatnot and possible potentials there. There was a lady there with the Sioux Falls office of the National Historical Society. She's going to send us some information of
State,
yeah. But she was out of the Sioux Falls office,
right?
Yeah, with the Historical Society.
Yeah.
Information is what it would take to get it on the registry, how that would affect us, kind of give us some starter paperwork on that. So I haven't seen anything yet. We'll kind of look over that information when it comes our way. But I would say the building was very impressive too, all the work they've done in there. So that was quite quite a difference there too, so, yeah, it was a good tour, and
Stop for it.
his main kind of angle, I would say, is that with restoration, it benefits the city as far as, promoting economic development, and people come to see it, and that's how you know, get your return on, you know, investing in these historical buildings.
Is there, like, if you get it, like, those buildings registered, are there grants or different things that you can apply for to help with the
She had mentioned
restoration?
there is some
Yes.
kind of funding to that. With it though, the other caveat, there are some restrictions as well of what you can do with them too. So that's why this information will be helpful to see what she kind of all
Yeah, I
sets
think
up.
about the facade of the Gage building and when that, you know, will need.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, so there's some benefits,
And that might
To look
change
at.
how you do that.
it was, there's a few restrictions, but there are some grants out there, so, yeah, so once we get the information, it'll be good to look through that and, kind of go from there, see what can be done, so. That's all I have. Do you guys have any questions?
All right. Any questions for Teresa? Yeah, his little walk around, it was actually pretty interesting. Guys that are in that business, they see stuff that normal people don't even think about. He stopped down at, he was showing us those bricks on Benjamin's place down there.
Yeah.
He said, look at these bricks. He said, when they make these, they're still wet. They rub a broom over them. It looks like wheat, stalks of wheat or stalks of grass. How many times you walk past that building and never stopped to look at that? He was walking by and he stopped and he said, look at this. He said, that's a brick, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, that was pretty cool. So, yeah. All right, we will move on to new business. First up, we have a discussion of funding scenarios for our wastewater treatment plant projected shortfall.
So we've kind of touched on this a little bit, you know, previously. We have basically a little over 17 million we have gotten for our wastewater plant. A majority of that is our over half of that's been in grants, but the rest of it we had to secure an SRF loan, which is paid back by that $26 surcharge that's going to be put out there. After we've gotten the CMAR on, obviously prices have increased. That 17 million is not projected to, you know, finish out the whole wastewater plant. Is going to be more probably, we're thinking, looking in that 20 million. So there's going to be an estimate about $4 million at this point that we are going to be short. Karen and I met with a municipal, a gentleman who works with municipal financing, just to kind of go over what are the options available to the city. And, you know, there's several different things you can do as far as bonds. There's a general obligation bond, you know, a water bond, sales tax bond, whatnot. A lot of the bonds require a vote of the people to pass them, otherwise you don't get the money. Just the same as an opt-out, because you could also do a sales tax opt-out, but that's a sell. That goes to a vote of the people as well. Okay. Probably the best thing and what cities use more often than not is SRF funding, just like we did the first go around. And it's a state revolving loan from the state of South Dakota. It's a fund they have set up. It's good because it gives you a low interest loan, and you can take it out for 30 years. So it's a lot of years, low interest. It's the most economically feasible. The thing with this is if we do another application for the additional funding we need, it will require another surcharge. The $4 million we're figuring roughly will be $15 on surcharge, so it'd be on top of that. It works just the same way as the other one. It's just on for the life of the loan, and then once the loan's gone, then it's taken off. I've talked with CCOG about how that works. We do need to get, the applications are due July 1st, so we do need to get an application in. If we are awarded the funding, though, we do not have to draw or start that surcharge right away. We can use the 17 million, we already got secured in funding to start the project and keep, moving forward to that. And then once we need the additional funding, that's when we will start drawing down on this loan, and that's when we'll need to implement that second surcharge. So the surcharge may be, depending how long this process takes, a year or two down the line, for all of this. We did talk of the option or two, what about, private financing with the bank, and he says you're gonna find it hard for a private bank to give you a loan on infrastructure just because there's really no collateral there. They can't go and dig up your sewer line or take your wastewater plant offline. That's more or less for buildings or land, something that they can have collateral in. So that's not an option as well. So we really are limited to the SRF funding if we don't, want to do a bond that would require a vote.
What are the rates at right now, do we know?
What are,
Is it like a fixed interest rate?
2.125.
yeah,
1, is it in here? Yeah, it's 2.1, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just
Well,
that,
the big thing is it doesn't go against our,
yeah, and another thing is that with the surcharge, it does not go against our debt limit. So thinking down the line, and we were talking about the Western Avenue project, we got 4 million coming there. If that, and that's a street project, so you can't use SRF funding for street projects, that's just for utility projects. So that is something that we're gonna probably have to look at sales tax bond on. That does go against our debt limit, so we need to make sure there's capacity in our debt limit to be able to take on like a sales tax bond. So, like I said, the good thing about this,
with our new timeline, when are we gonna have our guaranteed maximum? Before we have to put this application in, because if we have to go a third time,
right,
Yeah, there can't be a third time.
that's kind of, that's the other question that I had was, okay,
So-
so we got 17 million and our complete date is 2025. I mean, can we come back in 2024 and submit one of these applications?
we could,
When
since
we know that
it's the same project, Sophie with CECOG is recommending the sooner the better to make sure we get the additional funding, rather than go through the whole, because right now we can piggyback off of our first application project. If we wait another year or so out, we're gonna have to submit everything in full again with it.
So will we have our guaranteed price before middle of June?
Before the end of June.
Middle of June, if this application is due
With
July
the
1?
CM presumably being awarded the 6/6 early in June, and the plans being where they're at, I would imagine a GMP would be able to be determined quite quickly.
We also have the option, if we do interviews on the 23rd, to have a special meeting to award the CMAR to push it ahead a
we
little
should
bit.
probably do that.
Yes.
To buy ourselves some
I've
time.
got a
That would give
question
us
on
some time.
on the surcharge, like that, because we would have to have our total amount, right, for the project in order to identify what type of second surcharge we would need.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
We wanna
submit
know how
a
much
dollar
we're gonna
amount
borrow.
for
Yeah.
the
Is there,
application.
so like if it's like, let's just say if it's $15, and I know, because of course, this is what people complain about the most, just people I talk about, right?
Yep.
What's the timeline, what would be the timeline of getting that paid off, that 15, if it's $15, how, is that gonna be around for 20 years? But I guess that's contingent
So
upon our
that
growth.
$15, it's figuring if you take another 30-year loan out.
Yeah.
It's a 30-year.
If you
It's
shorten it up,
30,
it's
it's-
gonna be more,
So
yeah.
when you have more households,
Right,
and then pay the
Yes.
loan off faster, but it's a
Right.
30-year loan.
Yes.
yeah,
So,
so
I
it's,
So at this point, yeah, it's a 30-year loan. Like you said, the more households you add on, the sooner you can pay it off, but it's still gonna go up quickly.
And another option too, Sean, is the regionalization. If we can get regionalization to go through, then we'll
That can
have,
pay.
if we can get Colton to help out
yeah.
with paying this
Correct,
thing
so
down.
if we could get
Or,
that
yeah,
deal,
Brooks or whatever.
if that deal comes together, that will really
Yeah.
help.
And say we do get something like that going, with this loan, like I said, we don't need to start drawing on it until we need it, and we don't have to draw the full amount. I mean, we draw as expenses come up, whatnot, so if there becomes another funding source or whatnot, that is definitely something we can look at, because we're not, even though we need to apply for the loan and get it secured, But once we get the loan, does not mean we have to draw on it, yeah.
So I think, I agree, Cindy, I think we're gonna have to probably set a special meeting once we can,
So
award
we
that.
can, maybe later that week, we can look at doing a special meeting to
Yep.
get that awarded, and so like I said, in June, we can move ahead and get that with the CMAR.
All right, what do we gotta have for notice?
So
2 days?
I need to know, like I said, the application is July 1st, and since we've already done most of the groundwork for this first go-round, she doesn't need much time. She's gonna need, though, a couple weeks, 3 weeks, so we need to decide if we're gonna submit an application, and so CCOG can get working on it.
I would make a motion, to approve having CCOG submit an application for additional SRF funding for our wastewater treatment facility.
And I was just gonna say, you know, once they start working on it, before that actually gets sent in, it does come to you guys again for
We
review.
get one more.
Yep, yep.
Okay,
I'll second.
second, any discussion on that?
So that we'll still know our max dollar.
Before then? Yeah.
Because right now we're,
Four.
what, 4% higher?
Yeah, yeah,
That's a lot.
We had 16.7,
Yeah.
yeah.
and it's,
Yep, and we got,
It's past my bubble of air.
Well, it's no different than this deal with Western Avenue from the bridge.
Yeah.
If they're coming off there, I don't know if they're gonna pour concrete streets, but if they pour concrete streets, that's the big thing right now.
Yeah.
Concrete's just going through the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, infrastructure's great, I mean, this is a crazy time,
Yep.
infrastructure's crazy right now.
it is.
All right, so we have a motion and a second, any more discussion on that? Not, we'll vote, Bowen,
Yes.
Jazz,
Yes.
Mattson,
yes.
Wasslager,
Yes.
okay.
I mean, we're up against a hard deadline, we don't really
Yeah.
have any options,
We gotta get, yeah, we have to be ready, no doubt. Do we want to go ahead and set a meeting, or should we wait?
You guys wanna set that
Arden, can I
meeting
ask
for
a
special-
question on
Yes,
that?
yes.
So I'm new to this. We had to resubmit for the CMR process.
Yes.
Was that whose fault, at the end of the day, whose fault was that we didn't have all that? Was that our engineering firm didn't have everything dialed in on that, or was it?
Well, I would say at the end of the day, it
Okay.
really, what Justin's told me, it really comes down, ISG probably should have caught it, they had to switch over and engineers on their end, so.
I
okay.
believe it was.
I would say if we said, I mean, have we, and I'm just gonna throw this out there, if we do a special meeting, that's an expensive meeting,
Right.
right? Because if I read in my city council packet, when we do a special meeting, all of us get paid more than a standard meeting, so has there been discussion if that's their, if
Everyone gets paid.
everyone gets paid, we have to have city folks come in, has there been any discussion if our engineering firm messed up on that, is that, I'm just throwing it out there for
Specifically
discussion.
on that topic, no.
Say, Sean, one thing, not on behalf of them guys, I guess, CMARs in the state of South Dakota are relatively new. There's only been a handful of them done, and they've only started doing them the last couple of years, was when they started them. So the stuff that got missed, it's probably been missed by other towns, and just never been caught by the state, so.
But I agree, I think we'll have that discussion, but that aside,
Right.
we still don't wanna burn too much daylight before we
Right,
get
I agree with
down
that,
the road.
100%.
So the 23rd is a Tuesday,
Yes, sir.
what are we thinking?
I think we have to do it, don't we?
Yep.
I mean, there's no, we don't work on for time.
So could we do it, can we do it the same day, we won't know our,
Once the application's
I guess, it would depend on what time we have our selection, our meeting for, you know.
I am gone on that Tuesday, but I'm back on Wednesday. Just if that doesn't
I'm
matter.
in town.
Huh?
I'm in and Tom can, I mean, I'd hate to set it, do we need to set it for like Thursday or something? Or
That's what I was wondering.
maybe Wednesday? Are you on Wednesday? Is that what
I
you
can be
said?
back Wednesday night.
Wednesday.
At least give a day.
Wednesday's my church night, I'm not coming on Wednesday. I'll do Thursday though.
Thursday works.
Thursday is my wife's birthday, but we'll usually celebrate that on Friday, so.
Oh, boy.
Do we have to do it can we do it
You don't
earlier
have to
or
do a 7
something?
o'clock meeting, yeah, so you can send for me, I mean, I'll post the notice whenever it works.
Can we have some discussion on that outside the meeting and then you guys can?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that'd be.
Yeah, we don't need to.
I'll say, we could
I can
coordinate that
advise
too,
Teresa
through
and
emails,
set
because
that
I mean,
up.
I don't know
Yeah.
what Travis and Mark's availability
Right,
is
right.
as well, but
Right.
maybe we can throw it out there, you guys can send me your availabilities, and then we can get
Yeah,
something
we
set,
need
and
to
so I
make
can
sure
get
we have-
notices posted, so
A good group, a big
Yeah.
enough group here.
Yeah.
we'll work on setting that up.
All right. Good? Good? Okay.
Okay.
Next up is review agreements between the city, HADF, and the chamber. This is more informational only at this point.
When is it due for renewal?
So it's due this month, but it's not like, we won't continue to have Amy, work with them if we don't have these agreements in place. When we very first hired a city employee to work with these groups, we never had any kind of agreement in place, but, the agreements, and you can read through them, I just, like Art said, wanted the information to get out there, that the HADF and the chamber are reviewing them right now and giving us their input. We review them every 3 years to see, and
Well,
basically
is
just.
Tom reviewing? Or,
They initially drafted them, yes. Okay.
I think, I don't see any limitations on liability. And also,
And liability for what?
if they have any sort of legal issues or issues, related to.
Like an heirs and omission kind of deal, is that what you're thinking?
Okay.
It probably should be updated to, well, it's Hartford Area Development Foundation, right? It says HADC.
Yeah, there's gotta be some.
Yeah, I said these are,
Old, obviously older, yeah.
These are the ones that, they'll need to be updated.
I think there should also be a termination agreement for, something related to something besides the breach of, pertaining to the director position. So if there's something else that happens with HADF,
With the
that
groups
we
or
have the
whatnot.
opportunity to end the contract at that time.
Yeah, I have not sent these to them. I was waiting for the input from the other groups first, see if they want any changes or whatnot, and then we'd have him do a full review. So, but yes, I'll note these 2 things for him and send to it. So yeah, so if you see anything else or have any other suggestions, yes, please send them my way, because that's why I wanted to get it out in front of you guys.
Maybe indemnity was for the city that's maybe the word I was trying to come up with.
Right, for the liability issue, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you guys see anything, let's make sure, and then as the other groups go through them, if they have any changes, we should get those to everybody too, so they can review them.
Maybe Tom would say, for some reason that's not appropriate. but-
Yeah, but we'll definitely have them review, like I said, if the groups have any changes, we'll have them review that. Have them, see what's appropriate for wording and for these, and yeah, if you guys come up with anything else, yeah.
Because we're still signed by that other mayor, so
So, yeah, so definitely, when you get a chance, look through them and let me know if there's anything else.
Should throw that out there. Yeah. All right, any other questions, comments on that? Good, last one in new business is a tax abatement. That form is also in your packet. This is for parcel 82089. military, or disabled veteran tax abatement. Have any action from the council?
I'll make a motion to approve the disabled veteran tax abatement.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, we'll vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Wasslager?
Yes.
Jazz?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
All right. Under correspondence, you will see for the 18th consecutive year, the city of Hartford has received the Secretary's Award for Drinking Water Excellence. Craig.
Nice work, Craig.
Nice job, Craig.
Where do you keep all those awards at? You got them hanging in your office?
I bet he does.
Stacks.
No, that is really a big thing. That is really a big thing.
Yep,
So,
and all the guys got
Yep.
their
Yep.
award in it, so
Yep.
Neil and Jesse and.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'll let you guys know.
we do really appreciate you guys
Yep.
and all the work you do. That is a great deal. So, and if you can get that press release
Yep, we're gonna send that out
to
then.
the paper,
You're good, yep.
we appreciate what our city staff does to keep the town going.
Don't,
Alright,
don't be looking for one for the wastewater this year.
What's that?
Don't be looking for a wastewater one this year.
Yeah, they haven't asked me for my input.
Well, they haven't had to. I mean, you can just go back and
Go back and look at the film. Yeah. We need a motion to move into executive session for economic development and personnel. If somebody would like to make that motion.
So moved. Does that work, or do I have to say it?
That works.
And a second.
Take care of that.
And all in favor? Aye. All right.
All right.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thanks you guys.